This is how the deceit works. In a second, you're going to see the incompetence, the stupidity, the failing laid out, and then you're going to see a man stand up and say, this isn't good enough, you need to do better, and that's supposed to calm you for a while. But nothing ever changes. Reform are just controlled opposition who are there to make you feel like you have a voice and it's being heard. But it's just more of the same, more of lining their own pockets and destroying our nation.
And be as helpful as I can to you and your colleagues.
I'm very glad to hear that, Minister, but
Thank you.
Asking for questions about how many people have been returned who've arrived in small boats is not the kind of thing that I would expect to have to give notice of to the Home Office. If you come before a committee, we are going to ask you those questions. We all know this is a really topical issue. We're all concerned about it. We all want to know. So I think that my clerks give a full explanation of what the committee is likely to want to discuss when we have ministers in front of us. I don't think you need to have the specific question of exactly what we're going to ask, because you're grown-ups, you're politicians, you've been around, you know what the issues are. Lee Anderson.
Well, thank you, Chair. And I'd like to welcome the ministers to their new roles.
Thank you.
But I'm not going to hold back, ministers, and welcome Mr Hobbs. Now, look, we sat here a couple of weeks back with the permanent Home Secretary and his assistant, and the Chair's quite right, they were evasive and almost slippery in their replies to this committee, disrespectful to this committee, in that they came with no figures. Now, I think it's a little bit disrespectful, Dan, Mr Hobbs, that you must have actually watched that meeting or looked at some of it, and you saw the questions that were asked, and you're being asked the same questions now, and you still don't have the answers. I think that's disrespectful. But I'll go to the ministers first. Mr Rycroft and Mr Ridley, who, to my knowledge, didn't answer one single question throughout the whole session. Now, I want to know, ministers, have they been spoken to by the ministerial team? If they have, what conversations have you had? And do you think it would be a good idea to put these pair into special measures?
Mr Anderson, may I address that? And I know you're not going to hold back, you don't, and nor should you, because you're entitled to ask your questions in your own way, and it is a unique and very effective style, if I may say so. In response to the questions that you asked, there was a follow-up letter and there was a response that was received last night. Yes, I saw there was further a joint committee, which Dame Diana referred to in the Chamber of the House of Commons yesterday as well. There was a further follow-up to that, and yes, I have seen that, and I have seen the response, and you heard my response to Dame Diana. My view and the way I've always conducted myself is to be professional, to be prepared for meetings, for colleagues, to be respectful to colleagues. But I do caveat that with, from time to time, there will be very specific questions that are asked, whether of officials or whether of ministers, and I'm not going to sit here and say I've got an answer when I don't, respectfully, Mr Anderson, whether to you or to anyone else. I agree with you. If you ask questions 2 weeks ago to which you have not had a satisfactory answer, then I'll make sure that does not happen again.
Okay, do you think it may be a good idea? Because if I was in the Home Office, and thank goodness I'm not, but if I was working on this, there would be a weekly total of returns or a monthly total, so the whole department knows exactly what's going on. Would that be a good idea?
My instinctive reaction is yes.
Thank you.